This is the coolest vocal trick I think I've ever found. It allows you to take any vocal clip you have, reharmonize or melodize it on the fly in real time using MIDI. Whether it be a MIDI controller or a programmed MIDI clip on the piano roll, this is a concept I did not know I needed to learn. But before we start, to all of the lovely people that subscribed and come back to watch my videos, I apologize for the lack of uploads recently. Time has been blowing by. OBS has been very, very finicky and frankly starting to piss me off a bit, but I appreciate all of the support. That being said, if you're not already, consider subscribing. You have nothing to lose. Let's get into the video. I have this little demo project right here, and it sounds like this.
Staring at the ground, can hear sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone, even though we're always together. 'Cause all together,
So if we take just the lyrics that I'm singing there, it's being played through MIDI, so it's like this.
Staring at the ground, can't hear sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever?
So the really cool part about this trick is that, let's say I don't really like this melody perfectly. I want to change this note.
Staring at the ground, can't hear sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around.
So you can kind of see that you can very easily change what the melody is on the fly, and you can even do harmonies as well. So you can have almost sounds like multiple vocals singing at the same time on the same lyrics or audio clip that you fed into it. So I can do this on the fly or in real time. So I'll go to my piano and just improvise a little bit and show you what I mean there.
I'm staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone, even though we're always together. 'Cause all together, I'm staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone, even though we're always together.
So that's just me screwing around on piano, playing a couple of chords and having a little bit of fun with it. You could take somebody else's vocal clip and do so much cool stuff with it. It's like EDM vocals times a million. It doesn't sound perfectly natural, and I'm sure there are some tricks to get it to sound a little bit more natural, but today I'm just going to try and be quick with it and go over the basics of how this works. So let's go ahead and get into how to do this yourself. So the first thing you're going to need is an audio clip to be able to do this with. So I have a couple here that we can work with. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but preferably you're gonna want to sing your vocals monotone, which means one note all the way through the entire time. But you can take a vocal clip and turn it into monotone, so I'll show you how to do that. So firstly, we have this really cringeworthy, terrible, dry take of me singing these lyrics that I wrote. Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? And, you know, they sound about as good as they should. Pretty terrible, but, you know, whatever. So what you can do very quickly is you can take them, drag them into Newtone. Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch. Shut up, Fruity Loops. What are you doing? I don't need you to do that. Okay. Anyway, press Control A. It'll select everything in there, and then you can just select C4, and it should put everything on C4. Now you should take the center, put it everything all the way to the center, and it'll sound like this. Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision. And I usually like to take this vibration knob and turn it down pretty far as well, if not all the way. So the big problem here is that you're gonna get some weird quality issues and some phasing issues, and it's just gonna sound kind of weird. It's not gonna be quite quality, so I'll show you what I mean.
Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever?
But it'll still work. I mean, you can still use this and it'll still sound okay. And in some ways, I think when you use this and put it in like to all of the effects, etc., it can sound pretty cool. But I mean, it is lower quality and there are some issues with it. But that's a good way that you can take a vocal clip that maybe you already have that you like, or that you didn't sing, or you're not a good singer, or whatever it is, and turn it into something that can be used by this, because it all needs to be monotone, preferably on C4, so that everything lines up properly. So now we have this, and this is a vocal clip that I took trying to make sure that it was monotone as possible.
Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision.
And of course, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There's no way to. So even with vocal clips like this, you're going to want to do the same thing. Take it into Newtone really quick, or some sort of other pitch corrector, Melodyne, Auto-Tune Pro, whatever your drug of choice is, per se.
Staring at the...
And yeah, as you can see, if I take this, put the knobs back to default, yeah, it's not perfect. So you're going to want to do that same thing, just push these all to the center. There might be a few stragglers that don't quite fit into the scale, and yeah, now it's a little bit better. I like to turn the vibration pretty much all the way down, maybe down to like a quarter of the way, just so that you have some humanity to it left, I guess, but I like it to be as monotone as possible. Then you'll export it to the playlist and you'll get something like this.
Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my...
And that's pretty much all you need to do to your vocals. You might want to compress them first, or like take them up a notch. I like to do that afterwards, but it doesn't really matter too much, as long as they aren't like super dynamic. This vocal take was actually pretty good to begin with. It's fairly even volume and it'll work just fine. Now you're going to need to go and find that audio clip. Fruity Loops is really weird for me. I don't know if this is for anyone else, and if anybody has solutions in the comments, please let me know, but it won't let me open two things at once unless I right click the second thing and then left click it again, and then it's fine and it works. So I don't know what that's about, but whatever. Okay, so now that we know how to get our vocals prepared, let's go ahead and get into making the patch itself. So we're going to take the vocal clip that we have prepared, and then we're going to add a new Harmor and make a new one. So the first thing we want to do before we do anything else, this is a critical step, this will make your life miserable if you forget to do this, is go up to these presets here and find template and click resynthesis. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and open our little audio clip and drag it into the image section. So come down to this area, click on IMG, and then drag your audio clip into it.
Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch.
So now we have this little monotone audio clip in here, and if we start playing it, it's just gonna basically be like a sampler.
Staring at the ground, staring at the ground, staring at the ground, staring at the ground, staring at the ground.
Which is not what we want. We also want to unclick this little doohickey here. What do you call this? Button? We also want to unclick this little button here. That way, no matter what velocity you play at, the vocal is going to play at max volume. So now we have a couple of things that we need to do. We're going to need to take this speed knob and turn it all the way down, or I guess all the way to the center at exactly 0. And we're going to take this time knob and we're going to type in a value of 50%. Now that itself did not really do anything. You're still basically in the same spot. Except now it doesn't move on its own. It's basically just this one part of the vocal and it's frozen. Which does sound kind of cool and could have its own sound design purposes, but we're not doing that here today. So if we want to actually get this trick in motion, what we need to do is click this little envelope tab, or ENV, right here. go to this clusterfuck of a menu and find image time offset. So now that we're in image time offset, we need to make sure that we're in LFO, not envelope. This is another thing that will make you miserable, and it's such a small detail and it's super easy to miss, but it's very important. So we want to control this image time offset with an LFO, not an envelope. So you click this little box to the left here. This just enables the envelope. Right here, we sync it to the tempo and sync it to global. Those are two other pretty important things that you don't want to forget to do. So now that we've done that, we can take our skew and move it all the way right. This will make it a sawtooth wave, and we can just go ahead and click right here and move it back until this line is at the beginning of the first bar. Now we can take this, right click it, and it'll make us a little line. This will be easier if you press this little magnet in the bottom so that it actually snaps perfectly to the grid. And we figure out how long our clip is. This says it's 12 bars, but I actually recorded it at 110 BPM, and that means that it is exactly 8 bars. So we're gonna drag this out to 8 bars. We're gonna drag it to 9 because this is the beginning of the 8th bar, and 9 is the end of the 8th bar. It's really good to make sure that your vocal clip is a perfect 8 bars, 4 bars, 6 bars, 12 bars, however many it's supposed to be. That is another thing that could definitely give you trouble. So now we should have probably a really fast playback here. Not quite right, but we are very, very close here. So we're just going to take this little speed knob right here and drag it back until we have one saw wave encompassing all 8 bars.
I'm staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever?
And that's just about it. So what you could do is you could also make it slower. You can make it halftime or double time. Personally, for this clip, I think halftime sounds a little bit better, but for your taste and the specific audio clip you're working with, you're just gonna have to kind of fiddle with it. Now, there are a few other little things you can do. So what you can do is you can take this form knob and you can turn it down or up and it'll kind of format it.
Sound pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone even though we're always together.
And now you also have access to all of Harmor's other features. So like you can take the Harmor's harmonizer and use it on your vocals.
Or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone even though we're always together. 'Cause all together I'm staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found?
You can add unison to it, which is pretty damn cool, actually. You can do all sorts of other things, really. Although I'm not much of a Harmor pro, if you're the kind of person who uses Harmor a lot, I'm sure you can come up with some way crazier and cooler ideas than I can. But even these two alone are already pretty sick, and I mean the vocal trick itself is awesome.
Staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone even though we're always together.
It's really cool, and then you add it on to like an effects chain.
I'm staring at the ground, can't hear a sound. Pitch black fills my vision, no one else around. Will I be found, or am I bound to be lost forever? I don't know, feel so alone even though we're always together.
And yeah, there always are going to be some sort of artifacts or weird quirks with it. It's absolutely one of the coolest things that I've learned how to do recently, and I just thought I had to share it with you. Anyways, subscribe for more. See you later.